During the commissioner's speech at the beginning of the week, kind of State of the Union address, he gives it every year. He was asked about diversity, equity, inclusion, especially amidst all the things that President Trump is pulling back on when it comes to those policies, whether it be in universities and state offices. I mean, really, truly, everywhere. What are your thoughts on the commissioner saying, we believe it's made the league better and we're going to continue to do it?
I had a problem with Roger Goodell in the past when I played with the lockout and all, and I kind of looked at him funny. But as time goes on, as Roger, I would say, progresses and evolves in his position, Roger is a good commissioner, especially with the diversity and inclusion. And I would say that there's been stuff in the past, like you can't tell people to do the affirmative action and the Rooney Rule and all that stuff. We spoke about that already in the past. But just to speak on it, I would give Roger his flowers. Just because he didn't do that, he wrote that speech. He hadn't said nothing about it. But knowing what's going on nationally, to your point, RC, knowing where the divisiveness is right now in this world, and we can't be naive about it, for Roger to speak on that, I give him a lot of credit. And the point of it is that we are moving forward. Are we moving fast enough? No. But I do believe we're moving forward. I don't think we're in reverse or neutral.
I don't like titles. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think titles limit you. They box you in. You have to conform to that. Having DEI, initiatives implemented, why do we get there? Why is that necessary, right? It should automatically be inclusive. You should automatically want a diverse workspace. You should automatically want to offer equity. That's just my 2 cents on it. To be able to go out there and speak about it is one thing, but to actually do it. There's always been this big question mark about the hiring practices of Black coaches. You mentioned the Rooney Rule. We still have to get to a point where we aren't forced to do it by an initiative. Like, we can see people for what their work, their value, and what they actually bring to the table. I don't know, it was good to address the public and mention it in the midst of everything and all these other companies that are pulling back the initiatives. So it was good. The NFL understands the assignment, but action will ultimately always speak louder than words. Show it.
The first thing is, amidst what President Trump is doing in an actual, truly all you could say is an assault and an attack on diversity, equity, and inclusion, I think it was big for Roger Goodell to stand up as the NFL commissioner and say, diversity has been good for us, right? The elevation of minority groups within the NFL has been something that has made the game better. I think you have to say that part of it, right? Because so many times the other side will have you look at diversity, equity, and inclusion as if it means you don't have to hire the most qualified candidate. What it means is, previously, you weren't even giving the most qualified candidates opportunities, right? Diversity, equity, inclusion policies were a form of necessity, right? Because based on the way that this country was run, based on the allocation of wealth, there wasn't enough representation to get you in the room, to get Fred in the room, to get me in the room. And we're talking about a league in the NFL that's 53% African American. It's only 36% African American when we look at the assistant coaching ranks, which a lot of times are former players who now get those jobs. When you look at this past cycle, if I could just remember right off the top of my head, Aaron Glenn was the only African American coach to be hired. And so when you start to look at this league, it's very obvious, and it's like in life, you're gonna hire what's familiar. You're gonna hire what feels good. You're gonna hire people that are close to you. The problem is we aren't in the position of power, or minorities aren't in the position of power to be able to make those sort of hires or have those sort of voices in representation. And when Roger Goodell stands up, not necessarily against Trump's attack against DEI, but stands up and says, that's separate from what we're doing, he doesn't have to look any further than Trump's cabinet. You mean to tell me those are the most qualified people politically to do those jobs? Those are the most experienced people to do those jobs? President Trump is the exact reason you need diversity, equity, and inclusion. because of people like him. And so when you look at the league and whether it's the Rooney Rule is perfect or not, it's about being intentional about getting the correct people in the correct rooms with equal opportunities to earn those jobs.